Hey everybody, Psycho here again. Now today we are going to be taking a look at an Amazon carburetor. I bought this for the 2021 DRZ 125 and we are going to see if it's any good. Stay tuned. Alright, so let's take a look at the carb. Now this is the new one. This is the one that's off the bike. First thing, I noticed that it is very similar. It looks to be exactly the one that we need. Everything looks like it's going to match up. The only slight difference that I found was the fuel inlet is different, but it's not going to make any noticeable difference. As far as quality on this carburetor, I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of impressed on how well this looks. The screws are all like the zinc coated screws, which I like. The gaskets, from what I can see, are like a rubber composite versus like a paper, so I really like that. I mean, this carburetor, for being $40 off of Amazon, looks to be very well done. And I mean, there's some like little nicks and picks from machining that, whatever, but again, it's a $40 carburetor, so we're not going to complain about that too much. So the main reason why I bought a whole setup instead of just buying like more Suzuki parts from the powerhouse or whatever was, like, on this carburetor, it's missing the choke lever. And this is something that really annoys me, because to grab this underneath the bike with your fingers like that pulls on them and it hurts. It's annoying. I've been using a screwdriver to do it, but it's such a stupid way of doing things. But this little arm with the screw, the washers, and all this garbage here that they got geared up for this choke was $40-some. So for the sake of buying a third-party thing, I got a whole carburetor and a fuel shut-off for the same price. So that's why I did that. And this is such a stupid design anyways. It should have like a little rubber piece on this, and then, or plastic rather, and as you pull it up, it should click into place, and then that's the way it should be. This is such a stupid design. But anyways, as far as anything else, I think this should work fine. I'm hoping, as I mess with this carburetor now a bunch off camera, and I just can't get it to tune. I thought it was the floats was off. I set the floats to where they should have been, and then it went from a rich condition to not running at all. So I fooled with it a little bit more, got it running, but it would only idle. It wouldn't rev it at all. Like, as soon as you touch the throttle, blip, gone. So I ended up putting the pilot jet up from a 17 to a 20, then to a 25, and I still couldn't get it working right, and I just given up on this. I don't know if this is the factory carburetor. It says UCal on the side. I think it's a third-party carburetor that the kids that I bought it from, they just threw it on, and it just isn't really meant for it or something. I don't know. I don't know what they got done with this. And I'm not a carburetor guru. I'm a beginner. I know certain little things like different jets and whatever, but I can't just look at something and be like, okay, well, that's off a couple mils. Like, I just can't do that. So I'm giving up with this carburetor. I want to put this one on. With the reviews that I've seen, a lot of people have praised this, and they also said that they was able to just bolt it on and it worked. So hopefully we could do the same. And why I don't recommend that, we're going to do it anyways. So according to online, this has a 40 pilot and a 100 main jet, which is quite a bit of difference from this one. So maybe that's it. Maybe we just had to put the pilot jet up a ton and it would have worked fine. So anyways, let's get this bolted on and see if it works. Alright, so now it's time to put the carburetor back on. I've already switched out the needle. Both of them were the same, but I decided to go with this one because this is what came with it. So now we can hopefully get this to go in correctly. And you know what? It goes this way. We know that. Now, I didn't switch out the top because I don't feel like I need to do that right now. As long as the needle and all that switched out, it should be fine. So that is on now. We'll try the throttle. Yep, everything's moving. So intake boot. Now it's just tighten it down. Now another thing I changed out was this clamp screw here, because the other one was stripped. It was stripped when I got it. So the kids that kept taking the carburetor on and off and on and off, they did a number on it. Now, one thing, the choke stuff is in the way. So we're gonna have to put it over on that side. And now we can tighten it down. That's feeling pretty good. And then now we just gotta feed this over to this. Okay, that's super loose. So I am gonna clamp this. Yeah, we might get lucky, but I will switch this hose out because, like I say, that's really a little too loose for my comfort. But we got gas going in, so I'm gonna let the carburetor fill up, and we'll try kicking it over. Oh. I mean, it idles. That's something. Same problem. Yeah. Same issue. I don't know. It shouldn't. I figured it wouldn't do it, but maybe. Yeah, like it shouldn't shut off with a little bit of throttle. Alright, so I took the carburetor back off. I tried messing with it a bit and tried to see if it would run. The longer I ran it, the worse it got. And then it was basically it wouldn't run again without choke. And then it wouldn't run with the choke. And you had to hold your hand over the intake side of the carburetor just to get the fire up. So I don't know. I don't understand why it just keeps getting like worse and worse and worse. I pulled the carburetor. So this is the one that we've had on it. Just kind of going over the two carburetors and seeing, you know, this, that, something else. One thing I did notice, like with the floats on the one that came off of it originally, is it's got a poor setup for as far as like how much movement it has to allow fuel in. And you can see this tab is on the inside. Now, this carburetor, if you look at the float, you can see the tabs on the outside. So like for this one has a ton of movement to allow it to go up and down, which makes sense. But then when you look at this one, I'm just going to set you guys down. Because of that tab is on the inside, where are you? Look. Now, because that tab's on the inside, that's all the movement it has before it bottoms out. So again, for reference, nice bit of movement. Like, that's crazy, the difference. So I don't know if that's just a manufacturing error or whatever, but these floats, like, it really baffled me how I couldn't get it set right. But I mean, there's no movement there. Like, I even said when I was looking at it that, like, that tab, I would just cut that right off. So that way it could actually move, because like there's no movement there. So I think that's a lot of the issue with this carburetor. So another thing that I noticed that was missing on the new carburetor was the little splash guard thing or whatever. So I'm probably going to rob that off of the old one. I even thought about just switching the floats around to the old carburetor and trying it again. But like I say, they both have that same issue of it idles fine, it don't want to rev up. Now, what did I have in this? The main jet in this one now is a 107.5. This is a 100. But the big issue I got now is that this is the 100 that came with the carburetor. But let's say I wanted to go to so this is the 102 that came out of the one that was already on the Suzuki. It won't screw in. It goes in so far and then it just brings up. See? That's as far as you can get it in. And it does that with all of them. So I might switch out whatever these are called. I'm not sure at the moment. Where the needle goes up and down. And I might put, see if this one will go in it. But I don't want to run a 107. I'm going to put the 105 in it. And see if that makes a difference. Hopefully it does. But, like I say, it's just weird that the more I run it, the worse and worse it gets. So it's almost like it's picking up dirt. And then like it's plugging stuff off, and I mean I could probably see that, but everything's coming out clean. So if there was a bunch of dirt in it, it would be aha, but that's just simply not the case. Now the question is that going to fit in this? That actually fit pretty good. So we got lucky there. Now I want to take out that 107. Of course, that's gonna be a pain. And I'm gonna run a 105, and then we're gonna try it again. So there's the 105. And we'll put that one on there, and we'll put that splash guard on there, and hopefully. Hopefully that makes all the difference. I mean, again, I have no idea why. It seems like it wants to run lean. But I really don't know anymore. I'm literally just grasping at straws and changing this and that, hopes that it works. It does seem to be better than it was. Maybe that's all it is. You just gotta jet it up so damn much. I mean, I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not an expert at carburetors. So maybe, you know, to me, if it's running a 102 and you go to a 105 or a 107, that should make all the difference, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe it doesn't. I mean, from what the websites said on the forums and stuff like that, like jetting this bike to a 105 is basically what you do from factory. But, I mean, it's running better now than it did so far. So, maybe we jet it up to a 110. Because it does seem to be a hell of a lot better now. At least I can go through the gears. I know, I'm sorry I didn't take you guys with me, but I can actually go through the gears. And it works better kind of while you're moving as opposed to when it's sitting in neutral. I don't know. Maybe we'll rip it apart and we'll go to a 110 main jet and see how that works. Alright, so off camera, I've actually changed the jet out again. We had a 105, went to a 110. It made a bit of difference again. It definitely pulls harder. It can go through the gears better. It still hesitates and idle, but it's really weird. When it's in neutral and you're just idling it, it doesn't want to work. But when you're actually running it in gear, it doesn't hesitate. So I'm not quite sure what that's about, but it's definitely better with the 110. I may go up to a 115 jet and see if that makes a difference. But I need a really nice day to, you know, practice with it a little bit. Because right now there's a snowstorm out there, and I'm not one for ripping around in snow with a dirt bike, and, you know, my old age might dump it. But yeah, I'll show you how it works. It still hesitates, but it's a lot better. Right, like I can shut it off. Right, it still does that, but at least you can flip it to rev it up now. So, I mean, it's definitely better than it was. I mean, maybe we gotta just go up like a crazy amount. Put a 130 main in it or something, I don't know. But I'm ready to move on. I don't want to mess with the jets no more. I do have a couple other parts that I bought because I want to move on to some other things. I was gonna put the heat shield back on and whatnot. There's a broken bolt in the header itself. However, I don't have any extractors that are small enough to get it, so I need to get some. But I had to buy a new bolt, so we're going to do that at some point. The other thing is the front brake pads need to be changed, and they need new bolts here because they didn't come with it. So that's what we're going to do next. So as far as brake pads and stuff go, we're going to be using niche asbestos-free semi-metallic brake pads. I forget what I paid for these. They're not overly expensive. So now this is all loose for a reason, and we're gonna there we go. So that's not an actual bolt that goes for this. This is just something I cobbled up. And now I gotta remember how all this goes together. There's a pin here that we gotta pull, and that spins that around, and I think that one just comes off afterwards. Yeah, something or other. It's not overly complicated. Oh, so we're gonna pull this little cotter pin out, or yeah, I think it's a cotter pin. That just comes out like so. Set it aside. This pin should come right out with it. Now we can throw this over. Like you can see, pretty wore out. Next is this one, and then that just comes out like so. This one's not as wore out, but it's none too fresh. So now we want to just put it like so. That's one. And then we have this. Now they only go on one way, because like say this doesn't fit. It's pretty simple. And that goes like that. Now I'm gonna have to squish this because that's already not enough space. I don't know if I can get a little bit just with my fingers. We got a little bit. Oh yeah, she squished enough there. And then we just put our pin back in. And then our cotter pin. Okay, I need to... Ooh. There. Had it upside down. And that's pretty much it. Like I say, now we just gotta fit this in place. Just kind of goes like this. I might... No. That should pretty well take it. Oh, I need those bolts. And I don't remember pricing, but this all came from the Suzuki Powerhouse website. So it's all genuine parts. Because I actually bought some of these bolts from Kawasaki in my local area, and they didn't fit. So that was a kick in the, yes. And the big thing about it is normally I wouldn't care, but these bolts are 20 bucks a piece at Kawasaki. So, yeah. But these fit perfect. That's all there is to it. Now, that might not fit that. Kinda does. There. Beautiful. Now I can go ahead now and tighten all the rest of this down. And we should hopefully have good brakes. I'm not going to strip it or go crazy, just tighten it. Come on. So the question is now, is the brakes going to work? Oh, there we go. Look at that. Pump it up a little bit. That's what we like to see. Nice. Perfect. Because that's one thing I don't know if you guys notice, when I get on my bike, I always go for the front brake because I like to push myself ahead. And when there's no brake, it just goes. So, no, that's perfect. Yep. Nothing wrong with that. Alright, so my final thoughts on today's video and the carburetor. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm actually impressed with this. This is a $40, $50 carburetor, probably from China or somewhere. And I wasn't really expecting it to really be crazy good, but it is actually pretty damn good. And compared it to what came on the bike, like I've already said, the gaskets are better on the Amazon carburetor. The screws and stuff are got all that, like the zinc mixed in with it or whatever, that makes it like that yellowish color. So it's a lot better quality screw and hardware. The gaskets, like everything on it is better than what I have here in my hand. Even the floats, like I said, where these floats and this one, they don't open up, they don't travel enough. That's probably a big issue with this carburetor. And if I had a different set of floats, it probably would work better. So, I mean, ultimately, I am very impressed with the Amazon carburetor. It works. Yes, we didn't bolt it right on, and it worked perfect. I wasn't expecting that anyways. So, I mean, I got to tune it more. I'll probably go up a couple more jets, and it probably read right in the sweet spot then. The one thing to keep in mind that I didn't like was that the main jet wouldn't allow the jets to screw in like I showed. I switched that out of this carburetor and put it in that one. So that's one thing to keep in mind, because if you're going to want to jet it, and if you can't actually screw them in, it's kind of useless. So luckily we had a spare one here that worked great. So that's my only gripe about it. I mean, you get so much for $40, and you're like, I mean, I can't complain. All I can say there is probably 9 out of 10. It's like I say, if I can get it working, get it adjusted a little bit till it works perfect, then I'm happy. Anyways, that does it for today's video. If you enjoyed, comment, like, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for viewing.